Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lightweight. Come get with us. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Elgato Azul and Carolina Real Streamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Elgato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? We're back. It's been a while.
Yes, sir. Seems like it's been a minute, brother.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Doty already froze. That must be me. I may have to back out, but I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Elgato Azul. Next to me, the most hated man in catfishing, Alex Doty, Flathead Doty, a.k.a. Flathead the Terrible. Over the top of him is my partner in slime, Mr. Jamie Dunn, Carolina Lake Weights. What's up, boys? How are y'all doing tonight?
What's going on, everybody?
Doing good, Dirty. You doing good, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Man, I'm glad to be on here with you tonight. I have to say, I was pretty damn excited, man. I'm like, heck yeah, we're going to talk some flathead fishing and who knows what else.
I bet Rebecca's got it tuned in somewhere.
Yeah, she probably does somewhere in there. When it comes to flathead fishing, you know her.
Yeah, let me go share this out over on my pages real quick. Guys, if y'all would and you're on Facebook, go down to that share button and go share it out. Share that thing out on your page or wherever and see if we can get some growth.
Looks like we got some people coming in on the YouTube side. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, we'll let some people get in here real quick and then we'll get rolling. Tonight, we're going to talk the art of flathead catfishing. We might get into a little bit of personal growth because I've been friends with Doty now for about 2.5 years, and I've seen him grow quite a bit. I'm sure he's learned a lot in the social media catfishing game. We don't do a whole lot of social media, guys, but I don't think Doty is really that. I look at him as the top level angler. So that's really what the show's about. And we like to have guys that are willing to help. Doty's one of those types of dudes. I've fished with him personally. We had a great time, got along great, made some damn good memories, which, that's really what it's all about. So
thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you coming on here with us. It's going to be another good show. We've had Doty on before on was King of the Banks, where we had some of the, what I consider the best bank anglers in the country. And Doty was part of that show. It was a very popular show. Really I was nervous because a lot of our guys fish by boat, but there's a lot, most of us bank angled. So I think it's cool.
And I tell you, Chris, man, for all the questions, a lot of the phone calls that myself and Rebecca have been here at Carolina Lake Weights, we've been getting, man, a lot of the bank fishermen, we've been getting a lot of calls from them, about a lot of our weights and stuff. And also, anchor fishermen. That's it.
Yeah. Doty's going to do a giveaway. He's at 9,000 followers on his Facebook page.
Yes,
You're
sir.
mostly a Facebooker, right?
Yes, sir. TikTok,
so,
Instagram.
To Doty's page, it's Flathead Doty on Facebook. Give him a follow. Any of y'all that are just coming in, go down there and hit that share button, share out the show, see if we can get some growth. We're going to start trying to do that. See if we can grow this thing a little bit this year.
We might get some free stuff tonight.
Doty the GOAT, let's go.
What's going on, everybody?
Let's run through here and see who all is with us so far. So Off the Hook Outdoors says, what's going on, brother? What's up, Ted? How you doing, buddy? Dalton Abel says, let's go. Killer Bee Outdoors. Billy Boy says, congrats on the dinosaurs, Chris. We've been on a roll, Bill. Mark Vidal was my fishing partner Saturday, and we freaking lit the world on fire on these alligator gar. Mark, appreciate you joining me on the War Machine. That was a great adventure. Let's do it again, buddy. Trent Hall says, hey, everyone. Me and Trent about to team up, put the beat down on some fish. So we just got to figure out a time when he don't have a volleyball tournament or a graduation or clients. He's a guide. So Jesus Valenzuela says, good evening, fellas. Welcome in, bro. John Young says, watch out for Buddha Scotch. Buddha Scotch.
Chris, I want to give a shout out. We got a first time, Richard Brinkman, first time tonight watching our podcast. Welcome in, brother.
Welcome, Richard. Appreciate you stopping in. Hopefully, we're going to have a good time, and hopefully you guys can pick up a few tips and tricks in the process. Regardless, we're going to have a good time. So, Corey Whaley says, what's good, fellas? It's all good, Corey. It's all good, buddy. Life is great. John Young says, Randy Carter. I guess that's Butterscotch. Yeah, I got called out by Butterscotch this past week. I told him, you better watch out. My wife's going to whoop that ass. Lewis Parker says, evening. Welcome in, Lewis. Lance McCouguy, the Hawaiian fisherman, says, evening, everyone. Welcome in, Lance.
What's up, brother?
Lance, you need to come back down to Texas and do some gator gar fishing back in your home. Well, I don't know if it's your homeland, but back in your roots on the Trinity River.
I'm ready to come back there and do that too.
Doty, let's get it, man. Let's get it. It's an epic adventure. Even smaller ones pull. They just pull different. Just the whole process of hooking one is just cool. You know, you got to let them run for a couple minutes.
It's kind of like how I catch flatheads a little bit.
Yeah, but the hookup ratio is so low. So it's like,
yeah,
big up for a 2-minute run, then you lose it, you're let down, and then you're up, and then you're let down, and you finally hook one. It's like victory.
Yeah,
hard.
I tell you what, man, you were spooling some line off some reels this past week.
Dude, every trip I've almost spooled some. It's crazy. They run long way. They're fun to catch. I can't wait to get back out there. It's addictive, boys. I ain't gonna lie.
You have to let them run that long with it?
Yeah, so there's a trick to it. And basically what they do is they grab it in their beak and they'll run downstream. They immediately grab it and they start running downstream. And what they do is they run, they get away from where they attacked it, and then they run. And then when they stop, which could be 100 feet or it could be 100 yards downstream, they stop, they reposition it in their mouth, and they get it where, from what guys tell me, if it's a whole fish, they want to swallow it head first. So they reposition it in their mouth to swallow it, and then the line starts going slack. Well,
and that's how they'll do it every time, huh?
It's almost every time like that. So they run way downstream. They reposition it in there. You can't hook them when it's in their beak because it's just like trying to hook a bone.
Sounds like they're kind of smart.
They're smart. They're just, I don't know, man. They're an ancient creature. I mean, when you see one, you're like, damn, that is just not of our time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they'll grab it, and then when they turn around, they start swimming upstream, and that's when they're trying to swallow it. So they'll take it down into their mouth just above their gullet, and they'll hold it there before they swallow it whole. And that's when you freaking hoe off into them, man. You got a hook set like you're on the Bass Pro Fishing League.
Yeah, so when you had that one spooling off, and you had the one sitting on the side of the boat, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I could see my spool going, zzz, and I'm like, man, I got to do it to get 10, 9. I counted down like I'm about to be spooled. So
it's good content.
running downstream, you can't catch them if you set the hook. Sometimes you can, but it's just
That's the stuff people love to see.
it's fun, man. It's a
Chris,
unique fishing experience.
That's it. Cats on the Rock, guys service. Yo, let's get some 10% codes going. LOL.
We're doing some free giveaways tonight, so somebody's gonna get lucky. Doty's
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with sharing code.
Doty hit what, 9,000?
9,000 today.
Doty hit
Going fast.
9,000 followers on Facebook. He's giving away some SmackDown's my sponsor. Some takedown rod holders. How many are you giving away?
We're giving away 2 free takedown rod holders of your choice. Got to reach out to Austin Pettigrew. I have a email for you to reach out to him. He's going to send those to wherever you need them to go tonight.
Awesome. So Doty's going to give away. He did some type of he had some things you got to do to get entered in the competition. We're going to do some giveaways tonight too for the rest of the guys, for anybody that's here. So we appreciate it. We're going to try to. What are we giving away tonight, Jamie?
We're going to give away a slime show hat.
Yeah.
We're going to give a pack of yellow 2-ounce drifting weights away.
All right.
And of course, we're going to have to get some of the Elgato Lazul 2-ounce.
Those on them Gator Gar, man. We were losing a crap ton of rigs because we're fishing around a lot of like submerged trees and crap. And those gar will run you right into those trees. Or when they would do a long run, they'd pick it up and then they drop it. Well, your line's like half mooned 100 yards downstream, and when you reel it in, you're reeling it in through God knows what. We were losing a lot of rigs, so I switched everything to those Carolina lake weights. It got me through all of them stumps. The last 2 weeks we lost 7 rigs that week, and then the last 2 weeks we lost none. So they're not just for dragging, boys. They worked good for fishing around all them stumps too.
Go get y'all some. Check them out.
Appreciate that, guys.
All right, moving on down. Richard Brickman says, this is my first time seeing the podcast. Jamie, you might have already mentioned him. Appreciate you, Richard. Ink says, let's go. Doty is the GOAT.
Let's go.
Data Dam 415 says, hey, fam. Appreciate you stopping in. Catfish Junkie says, what's up, everybody? Welcome in, Junkie. Have you been missing in action, or have we just been off the freaking air for so long? I don't even remember.
We take 2 weeks off, man. It's been wild.
Gotta do that sometimes.
That's it.
All right. Dotted Dam 4415 is Chris Horde. Welcome in, Chris. Prime Softy says, seeing all the big catfish catchers. Yes. Yes, sir. John Young says, Chris Gamble, tell her about your cat call. I already told him, John, but it takes me a while I'm slow. It takes me a while to get through this dang list. Juan Tienda says, Slime Brothers, what's up? Welcome in, Juan. Mark says, had a blast. Yep, we did. We had a blast. Carolina, Dottie, and Gato says, Horde. Richard Brickman, thank you guys. Tom Outdoors. Tommy boy's been back on them big Texas catfish. They're off the beds here, guys. They're off the beds. Jackson caught a big one last weekend while we were gar fishing. Like, damn, that's a scrawny, beat up, tired fish. Prime Softy says, best tips and tricks from you guys. Hey, appreciate that. It's a feather in our cap knowing that we can help somebody get on some big fish.
So use those 10% off codes, man. If it gets you passionate about fishing, let it get you passionate, man. Grow the sport. Try different products. No problem with that.
That's right. Get your game right. Learn. Become friends with as many people as you can. spread positivity.
Exactly. What it's all about.
Doty's learning how to block out the negativity. Seems like finally. He's Doty. I call him the professional feather ruffler because that dude knows how to ruffle some feathers.
I'm retired.
Trent Hall says, "Watch that FZ." Trailer's not looking good, Mark. I've got it in the shop. It'll be fine, though, when I get to use it again. I'm going fishing with Chris Moody next. He's the best, probably one of the top gar fishermen in the country. He's my one of my buddies. He's a guide. He invited me to come on his boat. So anytime you can fish with one of the best in the world, you better freaking take the opportunity.
That's it.
I'm going to fish with him 2 days. So Cats on the Rock says, yo, let's get some. All right. I'm way behind. Damn.
I wish I could see the chat on the screen here.
Damn.
I got to click over to see the chat.
All right. Let me fast forward through here then.
While you doing that, Chris, Ink said, can you tell Doty to put on a shirt? My wife is watching me. Watching with me.
Oh, boy.
Man, I've lost 15 pounds. I got on the scale tonight, and I'm like, shit, I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks just by not really doing anything besides eating a little bit better.
Just from dragging my kayak up and down cliffs every day, nonstop.
Yeah, we getting ready to start hitting the gym again. Doctor laid in on me.
Curling 100 and 200 pound gator gar too. Pretty damn good workout.
I wouldn't mind trying that on a kayak, getting a big gator gar on a kayak. It'd be fun.
My buddy Killer B, he fishes for him out of the kayak. That dude's he's a world class angler in my mind. That dude's insane. He's willing to go do crap. You got to be crazy to do the stuff he does, but he does it. He went down to Madisonville in his kayak, and it's a flow. The Trinity is flowing, boy. And the guy's like, the ramp's covered in muck. The guy goes and gets the tractor and cleans the ramp off. He's like, "You sure about this? You sure about you're gonna take a kayak in this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I do it all the time."
Let's go.
I was nervous putting the war machine on it. It was freaking cool.
I do crazy stuff like that all the time.
Richard was asking, will the dragon weights work for regular river catfishing? It will, brother. I do a lot of river fishing. It work anywhere.
Yeah, so depending on what you're fishing, the current you're fishing, the size of the weight is greatly you're great. You've got to match the right size weight for the way that you're going to be fishing as far as current or structure. There's also several techniques that you can use to help cut down on snags if you're fishing around timber or rocks or stuff like that. But they will definitely dramatically help you get through a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna roll this drawing right now for these takedown rod holders.
Guys, I'm cutting out. I'm going to back out, and I'll be back. Give me a second.
All right, Chris is cutting out. I'll wait for him to get back.
Doty, you got them things warmed up, ready to go, brother?
Got them warmed up, mixed up real good.
Heck yeah, man. Looks like we got a hell of a crowd in here on the YouTube side and Facebook side. Appreciate y'all coming in tonight, man. A lot of new faces. Doty, they all here to see you, brother.
Hey, man. What's going on, everybody?
And guys, I want to say too, y'all got some good catfish flathead questions tonight. Doty's the man. We'll definitely get to all the questions we can. We're going to have a good time. Like I said, we're going to do some more giveaways during the show tonight. And I believe as soon as Chris jumps back in and gets reset back up, he's still rusty for the last 2 weeks. And Doty's, you going to do that drawing for that?
Yep. Let me know if there are any comments because I can't see anything comments-wise on my end.
I sure will, brother.
All right, let's roll this. Good luck to everybody in this. Oh,
Mix them up good.
Who's the name? All right, I got a name. Name is Dalton Abel. Dalton Abel, you are the winner. 2 takedown rod holders.
Winner, winner.
I'm gonna
Matter
get a
of
hold of
fact,
you after the show.
Dalton just was saying good luck to everyone.
Heck
Congratulations,
yeah.
Bob.
Good luck to everyone, but especially Dalton.
Heck yeah, man. That's a pretty sweet win right there.
Congrats, man.
Yes,
Two
Congrats.
sir.
free takedown rod holders of your choice. I'm gonna send you the information later to get a hold of Austin, or just message Austin at Takedown Rod Holders and let him know you're the winner of Flathead Doty's giveaway.
Man, that's one hell of a way to start the show off tonight, man. Giving stuff away, winners. Shine. It don't get no better than that.
Leland says he stopped drinking and dropped 35 pounds. So,
Congratulations, man. That's
good
great.
job, Lee. I know that's not an easy task. So good job. Stephen Full. We're gonna be inviting Stephen's son onto the dream team. Levi Full, a fish catching machine. We're probably gonna do that when he gets a they're constantly doing tournaments and stuff, so we'll wait till something cool happens and then we'll try to make a little splash for Levi, Stephen. But appreciate you coming in, man.
Another awesome youth angler.
Excited to get him. He's going to be a perfect fit. We got some really
y'all guys
good
know us.
We call them the dream team because to me they're the best.
Chris, I think you might be freezing.
Connection.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, like I said, y'all know us here at Carolina Lake Weights, man. We love our youth angler program. Always some of the best there is out there, man. And can't thank the parents enough, the fathers enough and the ladies taking the kids out fishing. And some of these kids, man, are just living their dream, brother, just catching some awesome fish and enjoying the outdoors. And we love seeing that. And
good job, everybody.
Looking forward to seeing him.
Good job.
He's fun to watch. Hey, Lee's got a question for you, Doty. He's got a fresh batch of bluegill today. What's your favorite size to use for flatheads?
Oh, the biggest bluegills you can get. I'm about slabs.
that's it.
Slabs.
Biggest he can get. That's how I like to roll too.
And there's something about the big ones, man. I'll put the smaller ones all next to the big baits, and every single time, without a doubt, they'll always go for the giant one.
Doty, let me ask you a question. This is something I've seen. I know we said how the flatheads are a little bit slower bite than the blues, but something and around here on these big flatheads is when you got that big. I'm talking about big blue, bluegill in there. Do you seem that the fight and the bite and the takedowns just a little bit more aggressive where you are?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on the fish, man. It's like a male or a female. I feel like they're kind of less aggressive. It's kind of scary how flatheads hit them bluegills because it's like they just come out of the darkness and just engulf it. It don't matter how, it could be a tiny little flathead that'll just come up and just grab the biggest freaking bait that will blow your mind.
It's crazy, man. You watch that rod, man, and all of a sudden it's just dumps. And that thing, I mean, they start, taking off that drag, and oh hell, here we go. Honestly what it is.
Yeah, I do a lot of river fishing, so I don't do a whole lot of lake fishing because there's only like maybe one lake in the state that actually has big flatheads in it, and it's just completely packed with people like at all times, like tons of boats and anglers like stacked just constantly. So I just tend to stick on the rivers here because that's where you're going to find any of the really big catfish because there's not even any really big ones in the lake we do have them in, which is Branched Oak. It's just
that's what I come from is basically a river background. I love our rivers. I've mentioned a couple times about one Pacific River, the Great PD River. It's just nothing but muddy water, structure like crazy. I love that water, and it produces some pretty sized flatheads, man. And
Our
I
river,
love.
our lakes are like all small, shallow sandpit lakes that are like not very deep at all, and there's just not enough room to even support any really big catfish. They're just like mostly stocked with channel catfish that do grow to 30 to 40 pounds out here easily in some of these lakes that have some crazy channel catfish genetics. Which the only time I'm really fishing at the lakes are for the walleye and the big channel cats out here. Other than
Nice.
that, I stay on the rivers. Gotta
Right.
learn the techniques to fish the rivers.
Rusty Duncan says he lost 140 pounds and he's got 100 to go. Congrats, Rusty. That's insane, bro. I bet you're feeling better. Congrats. Stephen Full says he heard that and he should see the smile. So, yeah, we're looking forward.
Oh man,
See my little future fisherman here.
Oh
there
man,
you go, man! Congratulations.
Who's
My
this?
nephew, my nephew Alexander. He's named after me.
Man, get a rod in that kid's hand. He's ready.
He's ready to go.
That's like my granddaughter, man. She just turned 3 months old, and I told Mama Rebecca, I said, as soon as she gets a little bit older, I said, this granddaddy's going to put that child on the boat and have her fishing.
Heck yeah.
They don't stay long. They don't stay young long, do they?
Nope. That's the future right there.
That's it, man.
That's right. Yeah, you're gonna have a fishing buddy before long.
I'm gonna get my brother out there to fish with me more often.
Yeah.
He
Rob
drives me
Shoebank
crazy
says,
though.
"What's up, fam? What's up, Rob? Welcome in, bro." Competitive Angler says, "Hello, all." And Killer B says, Matt Knight is a heck of a dude. Chris stands behind his stuff. I told you he would. All you got to do is be friendly and nice. And he barely even asks you a question when you're returning something. So remember that, guys. Be nice and respectful when you're trying to talk to somebody. It goes a lot further. Trent Hall, the flats I've caught this year so far have absolutely hammered the bait.
Yep.
And Trent is a fish catching son of a gun. The dude can catch him in his sleep.
Leland said we do good to get hand size bluegill. I tell you, man, Dirty, I know in your waters you got some pretty good sized bluegill, and same here in our waters, man. I just love catching those big two hand sized bluegill, as we call them, copperhead brim and big shell crackers.
They don't got them big bluegills like we got here everywhere.
That's it.
What's up, Joseph Jordan? Welcome in, bro. Outdoor Addiction says hello, everyone. Welcome in. We're about to get into it thick. So, Doty, y'all got a big fish kill. Why don't you explain to everybody how that happens? Because a lot of people don't understand it. So, it's a pretty common thing. What people don't realize is it is a very common thing. Usually spring rain. So, I'm sure you've probably schooled yourself on it because it's alarming when you see it. But what's going
very
on?
controversial, that's for sure. Probably a lot of different people that have a lot of different feelings about it. I know we got a whole lot of rain for the first time here right before that happened, and the water came up from about 6 foot to almost 11 a foot real fast. And all the farmers out there have been like spraying their farms down with all the chemicals and whatever. So that rain comes down, it flushes all that stuff into the water, the sediment, the ground is what the game wardens are pretty much saying. It's flushed all that sediment into the creek, which flowed down and cuts off oxygen to all the fish. They basically can't breathe.
Immediate decomposition that takes place. Right? It's not the actual flood water. It's what occurs after that stuff enters the system.
Yeah.
When it all starts breaking down immediately, which it's already breaking down outside of the water system, but when it hits in that water, it starts releasing a bunch of chemicals and stuff, which depletes the oxygen, and it kills fish. It happens here quite
A lot
often.
of people say that it was just mostly carp, but I actually visually saw a 20-pound flathead floating down the creek. I saw multiple small channel cats. I saw drumfish, like multiple different species that was floating down the creek.
Yeah, they're all susceptible to it, I would think.
I'd imagine the big catfish thing, they can breathe out of the water for hours, so I'm sure they managed to handle it a little bit better, but
Yeah,
definitely give the creek a little bit of time to like recuperate itself and before I go out there and start hammering them again.
yeah, I
It's
bet they
getting
don't
ready
have
to spawn. The blues are probably going to be moving in there to spawn pretty soon.
Yeah,
Right after that, the
ours are getting
flatheads
off
will.
the beds here. So all my buddies been catching big fish the last 2 weeks, which is insane because that just barely ever happens this time of year.
Same here. A lot of people have been catching some good ones. Been on fire.
Alan Little says, "What's up, everyone?" Scott Knoll says, "Hello, all."
It shouldn't be too long around here.
We call them perch in Texas.
Perch.
We do. We call them perch.
Nice.
They get big there.
They get massive. Yeah, they get huge.
Interesting.
We got a bunch of varieties. Green sunfish are preferred flathead bait here because they're very jittery fish when you put them on a hook.
They're resilient too. They're way more resilient than the big bluegills. They just seem to live a lot longer.
Those bluegills won't survive the night. A green sunfish, if he's still on there in the morning, you're like, damn, shit, I'm time to go home.
I think they can live with less oxygen too.
He's still got plenty of life left in him.
Yeah.
Fred says, "What's up, fellas? Gamble, I seen them gar. Bet that was a good time, buddy. It's a great time. I can't express how much fun it is. I mean,
y'all use cut bait for them gars, don't y'all?
We use cut bait. Yeah, they'll pretty much eat anything fresh. You know, typically in the wild, they're eating live fish, just like a blue cat. So it's very
we had them things up here
for a blue cat.
We got every other gar except for alligator gar up here. They'll just bite anything.
Yeah, they're in a selective territory. So it's the Rio Grande, the Trinity, which is like the prime, like probably the best gar fishing is in the Trinity. They have them in the Brazos, the Red River, and I believe in a lot of places along the coastline will have them because they will get into salt water. So they're brackish fish. Or they can they're not a brackish fish, but they can handle brackish water. So they'll get in the Sabine River. They're in the Mississippi, and I'm not really sure anywhere else, but that's pretty much their home zone. So
John Young said big sturgeon being caught in Minnesota. Nice, man.
Yeah, I've seen some big sturgeon being caught. That looks like a fun fish to catch.
I'm still yet to catch a lake sturgeon. That's definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah, Kelby, I'm using treble hooks, a 3/0 treble hook.
There's actually been a few people here in Nebraska catching lake sturgeon, and they're like super rare here. Like every once in a few years, you'll see somebody catch a lake sturgeon around here, but they've been showing up in the Missouri River around here.
Alan Little says, "What's the best way to locate and catch flatheads on a lake, as far as anchor or pulling boards or what?" I can tell you, it's on anchor. It's generally going to be around timber. You're going to be looking in about 8 to 12, maybe 15 feet of water, but 8 to 12. You're going to be up around inlets like creeks.
Yeah, I'd say follow the channels around those creeks, around all the big boulders or timber in the water. Definitely follow them creek channels. We'll move into the old creek channels.
Finds rock and brush. Well, Trent, your lake has rock. A lot of lakes don't. If you can find boulders, they do like boulders.
where
But
there's a good drop off around the boulders where it drops pretty deep. Get your bait out there, like right on the edge line or where them boulders stop, and it drops into the mud, and the fish will move up and down that little corridor.
if you're going to fish on timber, like standing timber, submerged timber, you're going to throw it right on the timber. They're typically going to be on the timber, or they'll make a wallow on the root flare of the timber. So if there's a tree in the water, that root flare where those roots go out, they'll make a little wallow right there, and that's kind of their little home zone. They'll move up and down. They eat bluegill, crappie, anything that's moving up and down those trees. They like those rocks where they can get up underneath them. That lake fishing for them in the lake's not easy. They also like boat ramps. When I used to target them pretty heavy, we fished a lot of boat ramps. And at the end of the boat ramp, it's concrete, and they like to burrow right underneath the concrete.
You got to drop off. I don't know if you can even see that. I got too much bad lighting in here. You got to drop off. Sometimes flatheads will sit on that drop off like that, and they'll wait for little bait fish to come swimming over the top of that, and they'll come up and ambush the bait fish just like that.
That's how they like to lay on timber as well. They're not always laying like this. A lot of times they're like this. So they want
That's
something
terrible
that comes. Uh-oh. My son's buddies. He's had all his electronics taken away for the whole week. He ain't a happy camper.
Man.
It says he's got both rocks and timber, and it's a crapshoot. Well, finding flatheads in the lake's always a crapshoot. We used to fish the dam a lot, so they do like those riprap. There's typically going to be some around that riprap, and we would fish in about 12 feet where that riprap had started going towards the end of the dam, and if you throw right at the bottom of that, you can typically catch them any time of the year.
You find them coming out of that current by the dams or the water. You see that water just back circling real hard, and you know to drop off.
That's how I was introduced to trophy catfishing, was fishing tail races. I traveled to every damn tail race in Texas catching those flatheads. And back then, it's late 80s, early 90s, you could fish up in those tail races. You can't, it's pretty much all the ones in Texas now have been outlawed. They're like forbidden zones, But
it's almost kind of the same way fishing on the Missouri River with the super heavy current out there on the wing dikes and stuff. You're kind of fishing them the same way you would probably do it on any kind of dam like that. Finding them areas where they drop holes, water
right
circling.
On that edge where that back current starts kicking back right there on that edge, right next to where it's raging. And you can see right where it's raging, those gizzard shad just run that edge of that thing by the millions. You're like, when I was a kid, I thought, well, if I was a fish, I'm thinking that's be a good spot right there. And that's basically how I learned to catch them, was in the tail race. So I wish you could still fish those, because man, that was some epic fishing. Epic.
Dirty, I seen a video the other day, man, where you caught a massive flathead, I believe, last year, and it looked like you had recaught that same one this year. Did I see that correctly?
That happens all the time. There's multiple fish I've caught multiple times. But the one you're probably talking about is a 72-pound fish that I actually caught that. Let me think about this. I caught it 2 years ago in September for the first time, and then I caught it a month later in October, and then I caught it again the third time last year in September, I believe. Yeah, last year in September was the third time I caught it, so 3 times. I almost guarantee you I'm going to catch it again this year. You promise.
And I saw you were weighing the fish. what that fish normally gain 1 pound to 2 pounds per year? So that you
Yeah, yeah, probably a pound, pound and a half every. The second time I caught it, it actually lost a little weight. It was like
It's
0.3,
seasonal.
0.4 pounds.
Way more. It's going to be seasonal.
yeah.
Fish, depending on what time of year,
You know
hell,
how much they're eating. Yeah.
yeah. One fish could weigh 50 pounds one time of the year. It could weigh 65 pounds. Catch it a different part of the year. They will
I
gain.
imagine, they eat a 6-pound bass. They gotta gain
Yeah,
6 pounds real fast.
That's it.
Depends
That's
when
it.
they had their last meal and what kind of meal it was. So there's no doubt about that. I've had fish cough up 8-10 pounds worth of like white bass in my, or an 8-pound cormorant. I had one throw up about an 8-10 pound cormorant one time. It's like,
Some
damn,
of the fish I catch, they just smell horrible, rotten, like rotten eggs.
Yeah.
Like, what are these fish eating?
dude, I caught a gar this past weekend that smelled like he'd been up in a porta john. He smelled the worst freaking smelling fish I had ever smelled, man. It was disgusting.
That's funny.
Mark says in North Carolina, I like finding flatheads where the prop wash out holes are at the end of the boat ramps. Brother, I'm gonna tell you,
so
Mark.
that's how we used to fish, man. We would fish because at the end of the boat ramp, when the lake's low, the wash, it's not just the prop wash, but the waves will clean the bottom of that boat ramp out where there's a crevice. And, when I was a kid, I would see people down there noodling them. I'm like, damn, well, if they noodle them, I know they're there. So we would just fish there. There's always, not always, but there's usually bait at a boat ramp. There's fish at a boat ramp. When I was little, I would bass fish on the just where that concrete edge is. I'd throw a spinner. So there's always bait there for them to eat. So
I've actually won some tournaments fishing for flatheads around the boat ramps and stuff. Been lucky enough around 4 or 5 in the morning, catching some nice flatheads and win a couple tournaments from that. And plus, a lot of people throws their bait out and everything right at the boat ramp and all that's right there.
There's bait at the boat ramp all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but
We'll be eating
a lot
it
of the
for sure.
time, there's bait there.
Yeah.
And even if there's not bait on the ramp, all that little rock pile, when I was really little, like 7, 8 years old, I would catch perch, or I call them perch, bluegill, sunfish right there on those rocks. Well, hell, that's what they're there for. It's an easy meal. They don't have to go more than 5-10 feet to eat.
That's it. Doty, what kind of area are you fishing, man? For the ones that might not know, what's your area there that you fish, and what's it contain?
What, as far as fish, or like, what do you mean?
Far as the structure, far as is it off of a main channel into a creek? All that style.
When you're looking to set up on some, what are you looking for?
Well, try to explain this again, even though it's hard to see this. So you got bends in your river. Some of those bends are way steeper than other bends. Depending on how hard that channel is bending into the river, that water hitting a certain bank when it's coming around is going to really be hitting that bank. And that's when usually farmers will put a bunch of really big boulders into the side of the bank there to try to keep the river, when it starts flooding, from wiping out their land. They'll put these big boulders in the areas like this where the fish will come and start living actually inside of these boulders, and that channel coming around that bend will dig a hole into them rocks, and then it'll usually drop like 20-30 foot where I fished on the river down into these channels that come around that bend. Maybe that illustration wasn't the greatest, but that's basically what I like to look for, really steep bends on the river where like a bunch of big rocks or big tree piles sticking out. It's like so much green moss on that tree pile that you can't even there's green stuff growing on it and there's no sunlight getting through it.
Nice.
That's when the fish will hang out inside of those big tree piles, and usually in the boulders. They seem to like to hang around that edge, like I said, where that main channel is flowing right in front of those rocks, and like their little highway, and they'll stop in the little holes in them rocks. And I think that's why see a bunch of scars and stuff all over the flathead heads because that's from them like digging out holes in them rocks and stuff and trying to make a hole for them to like cavitate into and have their
Yeah,
babies.
they just stick their head out.
Yeah, yeah. They'll
I've
sit there
learned
all
that
day long. It's
behavior
just like
from
waiting them out. It's just a matter of them coming out that 1 hour of the night or whenever it is they decide to come out and actually feed on a fish and have a fish sitting just, right out there in the pathways where they're moving to and from their holes.
Is there a prime time during your night that the fish are feeding more than certain times? I mean, what's your prime time?
I've caught them at all times of the day and night, but I feel like my most prime time is probably 4:30 in the morning, like the time when you're just about ready to fall asleep. You're like, you've waited it up all night long. You're like, man, I'm about to pass out. And the second you sit there and lay down, you close your eyes and boom, and your clicker's just screaming and jumping up and just not ready.
Yeah, that 4:30, 5 o'clock mark. That's when the last tournament we won. We call a big flathead that won it for us. It's always been that what I call magical moment. That time,
Right before the sun comes up.
That's it. That morning bite, man, and it ain't nothing like it. I mean, of course, right after dark or right after when the sun goes down, you catch some good ones. But something about that 4 o'clock mark here, local in our rivers, has always been magical.
It's definitely the magical moment. The sunrise getting ready to come up and the fog, a little chillier.
And everything's settled. The water's good and it's quiet from the day before with all the boats and stuff. So, yeah, that a lot of people, I try to tell them I know for me, there is a magical moment where I find that we catch our biggest, but the majority of the time is, that time of morning.
I believe that 100%. Early mornings, early bird gets the worm.
That's it, man. That's it.
John Young says, Doty, tell these guys how to follow you.
How to follow me? You can follow me on Facebook. There's a follow button on there. I'm on TikTok. You can follow me on TikTok or Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel. It's Flathead Doty, but I don't really post that much on there very much. Every now and again, I might start making some more YouTube content soon. I got a high request for it. There's a lot I need to do all that. Got to get new filming stuff and editing stuff. And that's a whole new ball game. We'll get there. That was the goal from the beginning, is to build my profile up on Facebook and all these other social media platforms to the point where I could take all my followers over to my YouTube and start generating the YouTube stuff. But we're getting there. It's a work in progress.
That's it.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
James Rasper, man, I hope you were thinking about your brother. I hope you get better. I know what you're going through, man.
I didn't see James. Let me run through here. Billy Beaver says, I made it. Kyle Watt says, surprise, Chris took time off from catching them gar. I'm going to actually probably take the weekend off because my neck is freaking pinched, dude. It's not too often I got to take off from fishing, but man, catching these gar is just different, man. I'm pinched and I need it. I'm probably
getting old.
That's right. Getting old.
You took the words right out my mouth.
Hurling 200-pound fish, though.
Me too.
God almighty, dude. It's crazy. And we caught like four or five over 6 foot last weekend. That's 100 to 120-pound fish.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna hug it. So
now you gotta go catch a white sturgeon.
Yeah. I need to get that planned. So I was supposed to go last summer with Mad Cats, but they didn't.
White sturgeon is a whole nother level. Like, I'm telling you, you'll be ruined after you catch one of them, like a 10-footer, like a real 10+ footer white sturgeon. It's just insane. It's like nothing you can do. Just hold the rod and sit there and let it burn itself out. We had caught a 10-footer and was holding it next to the boat, and a random another like 10-footer just on its own about 10 foot away from our boat, and the other sturgeon jumped out of the air completely, like Free Willy, all the way out of the water, landed And the guide that had took us out said he had never in his life seen that happen in all of his years of guiding. Just a random sturgeon jumped that close to his boat all the way out of the water, like while he was holding another one. It was almost like saying, "Let my homie go" or something. It's like,
that's my homie. What are y'all doing to my friend over
it
here?
was like 300 foot of water where we were too. It was insane.
Wow.
The Columbia River, the Dalles, Oregon. Man, it's another ball game.
Rauscher, watching from the hospital. Well, James, prayers, buddy. I'll keep you in our prayers over here.
Chris, I've lost all chat right this second. I guess my
All
service
right, let's run through here. I'm bad at, I'm terrible at it. You're way better than me. So Leroy says we fished the boat ramp for bluegill today. Yep, they're always there, pretty much year round. Trinity Outdoor says good evening, everyone. Welcome in, Randall. Scott Knoll says night is best for flats for me, unless you're William Oliver, and then you just go hammer monsters anytime you want with live scope. Trent Hall says 7 p.m. to 11 for him. Typically gets anywhere from 3 to 10 takedowns during this time. After that, just go home. Well, Trent does it for a living, so I'm gonna, I can't argue with Trent.
Chris, I'm be honest with you. There is some areas after a certain time. He's right. Even around here, man, you might as well load up and go home because it just dies right out, and that's it for that certain river. It just, for some reason, it just dies right out.
Randall says 4:30 bite's good. So is the 9:30 bite in Kentucky.
It should be biting real good right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Starting to warm up.
Living up in Washington State now. Can't wait to get to the sturgeon. Got a trip booked on the Columbia this summer.
Oh, you're going to love that. Worth every penny.
Hope you get some monsters, bro.
You just don't understand until you do it. And it'll blow your mind.
Catfish Junkie says next week I'll be chasing bluefin tuna. Oh, my God. That's Ensenada.
I'm sure that'd be fun, too.
That's the ultimate, dude. That's the ultimate. Anytime
someone jumps out of the boat at you.
Fish, that's my ultimate catch. Pretty much one of the only types of fish I hadn't fished for.
End up getting shanked.
Dan Weldon says, "Hey brothers, glad to be here. Appreciate you coming in, Danny boy." Billy Bever says, "Live scope is catfish killer."
I thought they were getting rid of live scope, outlawing it.
I don't believe they're going to outlaw it for guides. I'm going with a guide who live scopes, and he's the best live scoper in the country. And I'm going to be pretty happy when I catch me a 50 or 60 pound flathead live scoping, boys. I don't see a problem with it as long as you're catching release. So, but I'm not a tournament angler. I'm a fun fisherman. So I think it's going to be fun to catch one. Stephen Full says, "Hey, slime green is definitely you guys' color." Levi said, "We out, getting ready for Cape Coral family vacation next week." Oh man, that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah,
we got one coming up. Well, ours is in June, so we'll be chasing sharks, boys. We will be chasing sharks on my vacation.
On my bucket list too.
I love shark fishing.
Yes.
We go every summer. Last summer is the only summer we hadn't gone. So Billy Bever says nope.
So everybody's tough till they get bit by a shark.
I tell you what, man.
My buddy Bill catches them off the platforms in his kayak. He caught it like a 12-foot, like a serious monster bull shark
on a kayak. That's wild.
On a kayak. He said, "Man, it pulled me like 2 or 3 kilometers." I'm like, God, does that make you nervous? I mean,
it jumps at you, lands on your kayak or something midair.
Like a lot of things could go wrong there.
He's got more you know what's than I do.
Or less brains, but whatever. I mean, Junkie says, I've been eating my Wheaties. I hope I'm ready. You better freaking good, buddy. That's not a short fight. Those things give you.
Dirty, for someone that's just getting started into flathead fishing, man. What kind of gear? How you set up everything? What would you give them tips and tricks about, brother?
Well, take down rod holders, number one, especially if you're a bank fisherman. The best in the game right there. It don't matter what hits you. You got a boat drive by and grab your line, whatever. Your rod, your reel, it's all still going to be there. I don't know about your line, actually. It might take all your line, but your rod, your reel, and your rod holder will definitely be there for one. For that, I will definitely use, I'd say, a medium heavy fishing rod with little, pretty good sensitivity. You want it to be able to flex a lot on the end of your rod. And that's why I use mono too a lot to give me that stretch. I think mono definitely helps a lot when that flathead grabs your bait and it's starting to take off with your line, to keep them from feeling that tension or something there that would sketch them out enough that they're going to swallow that bait enough. When you're running, turn around with that bait and run so that you can crank down on them. A lot of people will argue with in my comments that you don't have to like set a hook with circle hooks, but I'm telling you, like, there's a lot of ways you could do it wrong with circle hook, popping that hook right out of the fish's mouth if you don't do it just the right way, and especially with like big flatheads that have them really big lip pads. And you almost gotta sometimes have that pad be able to guide along that lip pad or catch on the lip pad, but that's why I use 12-aught hooks that are big enough you can catch that lip pad and drag it when the fish is turning and hit just the like right way that you need it to hit.
A lot of it is when that rod tip's got to be like that when you do the crank when you try to
I set my rods up kind of like carp fishermen do almost, where they're like really low. I don't have them straight up and down, so when it's like a bunch of tension like that, I like it like laying at an angle like that. So my line's like just like that, and I like up and down when the line's pulling on it like that. Then they feel it. I feel like it stops them. But big flatheads are smart.
They are.
B says definitely less brains kayaking those bull sharks. Tiny Mad Cat, he's the professional reel repairman over at Mad Cats. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Billy Bever says we can shark fish in 4 hours. Let's go. Billy, I've got so many fishing trips lined up with guys. I told myself this summer I'm gonna make a point to try to get out on a lot of my other friends' boats and whatnot to try to just get a little different experience than what I'm normally used to. So
you bring that boat out here to the Missouri River.
Drag that boat. I'll jump on with you. I ain't dragging the War Machine to the coast. I've been there. I've done that. That's too far to drive that giant boat.
About 9 hours.
Oh, Brian Henry says, Chris, Jamie, Flathead Doty, how's it going? It's going great. Just came in from Lampasas River, had a good rain come in and caught a few good size eaters. Grease is getting hot. Make it pop, Brian. Joshua McPherson says, sup, guys? What's up, bro?
Dude.
Welcome. You know, Dottie, a lot of people, they got all kinds of different ways they're hooking at their bluegill, man. You know, you seen some hooking on the back, hooking on the front, center. What's your go-to hooking up your live bluegill?
Right in the very eye. I guess right under the top dorsal fin. It doesn't really matter where it's at under that dorsal fin, as long as you got it somewhere where, it's not just going to rip right out whenever you throw it out there.
Tiny's got a question. Says, when you're pulling boards for flatheads, Doty, do you use the same terminal tackle for blues as flatheads?
I don't pull boards.
He's a set fisherman, setting up on cover.
River fisherman, you can't really do the board thing out on the river.
I can kind of answer that one for you, brother. I actually do change up my rigs a little bit from where I'm anchored fishing. I'm basically pulling just like I do, on a lake. If I'm catching flatheads, I'm using a regular Santee style rig. I'm using, a rig with a rattle on it, just like if I was fishing for blues. So, I mean, you will catch some flatheads pulling boards with that style of rig.
Not in Texas. Well, I won't say not, but we may catch 2 or 3 flatheads the whole year dragging.
Yeah.
It's typically going to be early fall when the rain's coming in up by the inlets and I'm dragging like stump fields. I will catch them up there occasionally. Or it's going to be like late fall when they're doing a big feed up and they're around, like I'm fishing around rock ledges and stuff like that. I'll catch them then. And it also depends on what bait I'm using.
Yeah. So
they're very bait specific when I do catch them. It's not like I'm catching them off shad. I don't know that I've ever caught one off shad. It's typically if I've got like some type of sunfish on or a whole, I'm not going to say what fish, but when I got a whole fish on.
Well, I will tell you that there is one trick that I do different. Let me tell you, I will really pull real slow for that style. If I know I want to catch more flatheads, I will pull real slow. I will not pull at the speed that I normally would if I'm doing it for blues. So when I'm coming over top of that structure, I'm coming over just almost like if I was basically on top of them, just light pulling right like that. So that is one trick I will do if I know I want to go for more flatheads when I'm pulling boards.
I'd imagine pulling boards around the main creek channels where they're drifting the main fish highways where them fish are moving.
That's where we catch them.
It's close to where that structure's at. So you got the creek, the highway going right past your structure. Them fish are going to be cruising through there eventually.
And they're feeding up
because hitting that area.
That's it. But now at night, I won't pull boards at all for them at night. I'm strictly going shallow between that 10 to 2 foot mark. I'm fishing that shallow for them at night on anchor. Tom said only flatheads I caught drifting was on cut shad. Yeah. Yeah, I'm using just strictly cut bait when I'm doing that.
Sure,
I'm not doing live bait.
Tricky. Can't catch them. You got to catch them when they're actively feeding.
Yeah.
They're actively out there chomping down on baits, trying to fatten up. That's going to be your best chance. Be out there at the right time in the right place.
Yeah, the days that I'm catching them, I'm typically under. There are shad there, but I'm catching like hell. The last time I caught several, I caught 2 the same day, and I was dragging sunfish that day, and I was catching like giant crappie. I caught a giant bass that day. There was like a feeding frenzy going on. I don't know if they were there to eat the shad or if they were eating what was feeding on the shad, but that's how I caught them. It was during the fall feeding frenzy when they're feeding up, there's fronts on the way type fishing. That's typically when I've always caught them. When I'm if I'm dragging and I catch one as a bycatch.
Like flathead habits can be so different, like depending on where you are in the country and what state, like whether it's a lake or a river, or like smaller tributary, or like even the way some of the flatheads I see, like the way they look at different people, like catching them at different places around the country, they almost have like different appearances. Like hard
That's
to tune in there. They're like completely different, like fish living in completely different habitats, doing different things in certain ways. They're not always going to be the same.
That's it. And Catfish Junkie, I was wanting to hit on this. Also, as far as boards, I see where he does kind of like what I do at night. Also, I will use the boards at night to pull my baits away from the boat on depending on which side of the boat, pulling live bluegill away and actually using them for that also. But on the shore side, I'm not pulling the board or using boards on that side at all. But it does work. It really does.
And if that fish is around and there's something out there kicking around, looking like it's struggling, putting that smell out there, the flathead's going to come
I
up
think
out of
it's
nowhere and
the
just engulf it.
They come for the activity more than anything.
It's kind of like the gar. That's what the gar do here. Like that's why it's hard to get away from the gar. They're such a nuisance out here. It's just like you got to use the live baits to catch big flatheads here. And it's just a matter of keeping your baits alive through all the gar bites all night in order for them flathead to eventually come out of their hole and come along and hit that bait without it being all torn up and dead by the gar by morning. Like I usually bring like 10 live baits out with me every time. They're pretty much all dead by gar by the morning.
Yeah.
I'm usually catching my flathead on like my last couple live baits that are alive or in the early morning hours. It's like the only thing I got left all through the night. Gar bad.
Dirty, are
Terrible.
you pretty much using them on the bottom? Are you using floats or doing any of that style fishing?
I don't really use much floats. I had some friends, like if I'm on the Missouri River, like really high current, like you're always using floats. That's where it's at. Where I'm fishing at, the current's like not that strong, and I've used floats out there before, but I've never like actually got the bite on a rig that has floats. Maybe once or twice, maybe, but technically, like when I'm fishing where I'm at, I just don't use the floats. I'm like just plain and simple, like your weight, your slider, your hook. Like I feel like that's just like the most natural way to do it. Like all
That's
the
it.
floats and rattles, like certain places that stuff will help draw the fish in. But if like it's a big 40, 50 pound flathead, I don't think they don't give two craps about whether it's floated up off the bottom or whether it's rattling, or like as long as you got a live bait out there kicking with that smell on a hook that can handle the fish and all your tackle can handle that fish, like let them smoke it, reel down, and yeet.
Are you strictly a 12-aught hook guy for fishing for flathead, or
If all I got like some 10 otters, that'll work. But I have lost a lot of fish on smaller, like 10-aught hooks. I feel like just and not catching that lip pad and whatever, just popping right out of their mouth. Once I started using them 12-aught hooks for sure. I got something from you too, but these are the ones from Myers TV. That's just like no matter what brand of hook, if it's a 12-aught hook like these offset red ones, my success rate went up like 100% when I started using. Like I don't lose fish on these hooks anymore. If something hits it, I'm gonna catch it.
Yeah, that's like the ones right
I
here.
originally used to get these from Dale's Tackle back in the day, and then I started going through Bob Mann's 2-hook leaders that would use these hooks on all of his leaders. I'm getting these from Myers TV.
And that's like these right here, man. With the offset on them that we love and has, where the point's not the way it is, I've always been a straight forest flatheads, a 12-aught hook myself. You know, you see that one right there.
Yep, it'll work
Yep.
for
And
sure.
I've always
that
had
hook's basically the original Team Catfish hook that was popularized,
This is
that's
a
it.
and then Dale started making that hook. It's just basically
this
I don't
one's a
know,
12-aught from Mid Atlantic Catfish Company. You can put these two side by side. You can see this red hook is like significantly bigger than the Mid Atlantic Catfish 12-aught hook. You see
yeah,
that gap
it's
size
very
difference right there.
all a 12-aught. Most, I would say, the majority of catfish companies call their 10-aught a 12-aught. It's not an actual 12. I don't know why they do that, but maybe just to say, look at this 12-aught I'm using, But
And Chris, you know, you bring up a good point, and I get a lot of questions about that. Here's the Action Jackson, the 10-aught Texas Tornado hook right
yeah,
here.
that's most companies'
Yeah.
12-aught.
Yeah, and then you see the what I call the true 12. You know, I get a lot of people saying, "Well, is there a big difference in it?" You know, because a lot. Well, there it is right there. That little bit, to me, you know, is a lot when you're going after big flatheads and stuff. You know that
Yep,
little bit right here could mean everything, and that's
yep,
just like this 12 right here. You know,
yep.
I
It's got a
like it.
good gap.
Yeah, I like the gap on these, and I like a true
Yeah,
12.
that one with the straight eye, that's what you would call a double action hook.
Yep,
You can set the hook or you can crank down on it.
that's it.
Yeah. Another observation I made here was on these sinker sliders. That's one of Mad Cat's sinker sliders. This is one of, I want to say, you can get these on Amazon. It's the one with the green bottom on them. And these are ones from Myers TV, which these yellow ones on the bottom, you notice it actually has like kind of like a pearlescent color into the yellow. It's a little different than these regular Mad Cats ones, but the tips on these things are a little bit different in size. You notice these compared next to each other, they get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, depending on how big your weights you're needing to use. Check out different stubs. I think having these things just a tad bit bigger allows you to put big 6, 7, 8 ounce weights on there a lot easier. So I like this Myers TV sinker sliders. They're just like a good quarter-inch difference in the size of them.
I seen or need some the 10-ounce dragging weights was talking about for the Mississippi. Yeah, that's what you're going to get right here on the 10-ounce. That's the
Yep.
length of those. So yeah, we do have those, and I tell you, you know, a lot of people up at the James, and here's the 5 right here, and you see the difference. But yeah, they work real good for the rivers and stuff. Everybody was asking earlier, and I just saw from another one. But yeah, it'll definitely help you hold it down there.
I was fishing an area yesterday with those things in the Missouri River. They say there's like a whole dually truck down there and a trailer that some guy had like tried to back too far into the river and hit a drop off at the bottom of the ramp and just fell into a drop off, and said he like tried to hook some kind of parachute or something to stop the trailer from going in. That didn't help, and it just like started dragging the whole truck and trailer down into the river, and it's like right out there. I've been snagging left and right regular weights, but I was using that weight out there the other day, throwing it like right on top of the truck and trailer out there, and every time it was reeling right up through that thing, not getting snagged. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, I tell you, it makes a difference. It really does. I mean, and like we were talking about, you know, I like a lot of people to understand. I know it's kind of a little bit out of subject. There's proper weights for proper situations, and you know, Chris and you know, we were talking to all of us. You know, a lot of people can overweight in certain situations,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
probably
going
the
to.
biggest deal. Guys constantly tell me, well, I lost this, I lost that. And I'm like, well, what were you running? They're like, oh, I was running 4 ounce. I'm like, what's the point? I mean, you're not in current. What's the point? I mean, you want to use enough weight to tack it down. And then if you're fishing around a lot of cover, you're going to want to have the rig vertical where with the least amount of downward pressure when it hits a snag. So if it's got downward pressure, when I mean downward pressure, it means that weight's pulling down. If you hit a rock and you got downward pressure and it gets in a crevice, you're going to lose it. You know, if you're in a tree and there's a tight, a Y in the knuckle on the tree, and it gets in that, and you got a big heavy weight, you're going to lose it, because what happens, the heavier it is, if it does make it through the structure or the cover, it slingshots your hook into said cover or structure, and now your hook's hung, and that hook is probably what is hanging you up more than anything. When you think I'm trying to get through, well, you felt a lot of times you can feel it come. You could feel the weight hung. You get the weight through, but it's that slingshot effect that it does after that, whoosh, and that hook gets in there and you're done. And you get the hook hung up, you're done for.
It takes a lot of practice, like getting snags unsnagged. I think I've gotten really good at it. I used to lose a lot more, like back in the day at my spots, just from like everyone will just try to just yank it out and you just can't get it out.
That's the last thing you want to do.
I've gotten good at getting on my kayak and actually kayaking out there and like popping it out different ways, trying different things.
Trying to get high up on it, or just
that's actually how I broke that Mad Cat's rod. That I was out there freaking in a snag, and I got on my kayak and just try to whip it up real hard, and it just snaps like.
A lot of times it's the rod tip too. So if you got a real, like a medium heavy rod tip, it's real springy. When it freaking comes off, it'll set your hook on cover where you will lose, like it for dragging. If you're dragging, guys like, oh, get medium heavies. I'm like, dude, I have run all these freaking rods. You will get hung up twice as much running medium heavies dragging. They're like, I don't understand it. Well, there's a reason. The rod tip is setting your hook on structure as it's not structure, on cover as it's coming through, and your hook is what's getting hung. So you want something that's going to, when it comes off of something, it's not just whack and whoosh, slingshotting your bait. It's swimming it through stuff, and you'll lose dramatically less stuff if you can have that smoother presentation.
That's it. I want to give a heads up, everybody. Don't go nowhere. We're going to be doing a couple of giveaways and everything towards.
John Young says, Doty, you doing any paddle fish?
I haven't done any paddle fishing this year. I have in the past a few times. I've been out to a few places in Oklahoma and down in the Ozarks, and I think I did some in Kansas.
Paddle fish. I just need to book it with Michael Busby up in Oklahoma.
I'll probably do some more paddle fishing soon.
That looks like a lot of fun, man. I've never done it before.
You snag them.
Yeah. Man, that does look like a lot of fun.
Jamie Dominguez says, what's up, fellas?
Grand Lake of the Cherokee. That's a really cool lake.
Yeah, that's where my trip will be.
There's a really cool resort on that lake. I can't remember what it's called, but it was super luxurious. It's like 0 degrees outside. We were hanging out in the hot tub with all the lights. Side of the lake, just living our best life.
Catfish Junkie says there's a point when catfish get so big that a hook up anywhere but the corner is sketchy. And that's true. Once they get to about 80 pounds, the tooth patch looks like a damn Red Bull can. And you can't get a hook behind the tooth patch to catch that fish. It's got to be in the corner of the mouth. So
that Bubba hump.
You know, if you catch, now you might catch one if you got him in the tooth patch and it buried into the bone a little bit. You got one good like that, but most of the time you need a good hook. That's why those giants are really hard to catch, because it's got to be a good hook set.
Yeah.
And the hook needs to be in the corner of the mouth. You get in the tooth patch and you skin hook it.
Does anybody ever use that nylon stuff out there to try to try to catch them. The big alligator gar with the nylon like stuff they'll put on the end of your thing that their teeth
Oh,
will like get tangled in.
it's like frayed.
Yeah.
The purists will run you off the. You think you got haters with catfishing, boy? The freaking gator gar boys, they're mad, man. They don't like you using that nylon stuff, so because it's hard to get out of their teeth, and you're breaking off their teeth. And what.
Makes sense.
I want to try to protect those fish. They're 7-foot alligator gars anywhere from 70 to 100 years old. And I saw somebody last week that bow hunted 3 of them from 7 to 8 feet in one trip. They got 3 7 to 8 feet bow hunting. They're like 100-year-old. I mean, like one was 7'10" and 2 7'6"ers, and they just killed them. And said, "Well, man, we're eating them." You know, like
it's up at my spot the other day. I pulled up to my spot, and there was like 2 of the biggest long-nosed gar I'd ever even seen out here that somebody had shot in their head with some bows out there and just threw them up on the bank. I was like, they're good to eat. Like, why wouldn't you just eat them at least? Like,
I don't
understand. The point of just shooting fish is to throw them on the bank for fun.
For the hell, just for the sport, just killing for the sport of it. It's not. I'm sorry. I mean, that ain't right, dude.
I was out there the other night. These guys just walked
about those. I don't like. It's not like I love carp, but I don't think that carp should be just. You shouldn't be able to go out and spearfish 200. Bowfish 200 carp in a night and go dump. I mean, you're not allowed to dump them, but that's what a lot of them do. I mean, they just go dump the damn things.
Man, that's
these
crazy.
guys, they'll like sit right on top of my line, just start shooting, trying to shoot gar. Like, I'm like, man, y'all can't do that somewhere else.
The area where we fish for those alligator gar, there's regulations where you can't keep one over a certain amount. But we're like the last trip, we saw several different arrows that somebody had shot. They're not said, "Oh, that one's too big, don't shoot that one." I mean, they're shooting the biggest damn ones they can find.
Gar got the worst reputation.
Yeah,
maybe not alligator gar, but like all other species of gar for sure. Got the worst
even
reputation.
Alligator gar. I mean, they used to just kill those indiscriminately, and you still see guys saying, "Oh, kill them all, they're eating the game fish." I'm like, golly, it's an ecosystem. It all needs to work together.
Now with social media, that seems to be like where it's at. Just because the pure size of the gar, just like you get that raw footage of them things running like that and just setting the hook, and that's just like the stuff people want to see. And
that's it.
It's bringing it back. People are starting to put their eyes on them big gar a little bit more.
That's it. Doty, I got a question for you, brother. Options on leader length and what size leader are you using, brother?
I use 80-pound main line, probably 60-pound mono for my main line to an 80-pound structure like leader line to a 12-aught hook. So 60-pound mono to 80-pound mono leader. And if I'm running braid, I'll run an 80-pound braid usually.
What's your leader length? Options.
I like my leaders really short where I'm at, like 6 inches, like not even that. Somehow I figured like out that actually like helps my hookup ratio out there a whole bunch from having it like a foot long, cutting it down to just 6 inches where that fish is literally just right here, just moving around right where that big flathead is cruising on the bottom about devour it. 6-inch leaders is it.
Now, do you change your length for different situations or different places? Because
for like the Missouri River, like when I'm running the floats and stuff, you definitely want like a almost 3-foot leader line with the float on it, rattles, all that good stuff that's floated and elevated up off the river bottom. Because most blues, like y'all say, they are moving and elevated off of the bottom usually when they're moving.
Because I know, like in certain situations or certain rivers or certain structure, I will change my leader lengths up. Some, like you said, pretty short, and then some I'll have, a little bit
like
longer.
Flatheads, they tend to stick like toward to the bottom more than blues do whenever they're moving. They're not always like elevated in that water column. They'll be sitting down on the bottom sometimes. So definitely like you want that shorter 6 ounce like leader to be like literally like right above them, so it's in their face whenever they're moving along that bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, y'all got it.
Says he usually doesn't go over 2 ounce for trolling and drifting. I don't either unless I'm in big, deep water or big waves and wind, and I'll go to a 3 ounce. Christopher Lester says the fishing community needs more of this. Well, you can get it right here every Wednesday night. We give up the secrets. We get the best anglers in the world. And I can say that with confidence. We've had some of the best anglers in the world on this show. Every week, it's helped me become a better angler. I've met a lot of guys that have been friendly to me that now I call my brothers. You can get endless information from different anglers, different parts of the country, different techniques. So we try to give up the secrets, Christopher.
Everybody fishes different everywhere. You can't really knock people for fishing a different way than how you're fishing. Like, there's so many different ways to fish and like techniques. So.
Yeah. You know, you might not use it all or, you know, most of it, but you might pick up a little something that could help you in a
figure out what works best for you in your area.
And you know, that's what I love about this show is, you know, like Chris, you're in Texas, I'm in South Carolina, and Doty, for the ones that don't know, where are you at?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
And so you're able to come in here, you're able to listen out us talking and see the different ways that, you know, you can use your stuff for or set your stuff up. But, you know, like flathead fishing, man, it's close to the same thing from what you're using, Doty, to what we're using here locally also. You know, just like I said, might do a couple different things, you know, as far as the boards or something like that. But, you know, it's not a big swing in it.
Yeah.
Chris, you see where Mosley was asking the name of that resort?
No, but let me move on down real quick. So Leland Lloyd says, lost a monster on a 6 yesterday. Lee, if you're going to lose a monster, your chance of losing one is in the off season when you're not geared up for giant fish. That's why we all switch to 10-aught, 12-aughts in the winter, because if you sink a 6-aught, tiny 6-aught hook and you don't hook it in the corner of the mouth and you get a fish over about 45 pounds, a good chance you're going to lose that fish. So, yes, 6-aught hooks. Guys will say, you catch the world record on a 6-aught hook. Yes, you can, if you hook it perfectly in the corner of the mouth.
Yeah.
If you don't hook it in the corner of the mouth, a 12-aught hook will catch you way more big fish that are hooked in the tooth patch than a 6. And I mean, it's freaking, it'll be 20 fish to 1.
And Chris, I'm like, I always say, man, use the size hook for the size fish that you're going after.
It's the size fish you're going after, the size bait that you're using. There's multiple things. It's not just the size of fish, but it's also the size of bait, how they're going to take that thing down and grab it and go. Big baits, they typically go and hit that thing more aggressively to try to kill it. Yep. They want to do more damage to it before they eat it than a little morsel that they just, you know, doesn't put up much of a fight. So
that's it. Just like myself and Dottie, you know, right now it's straight 12-aught hooks, you know, going after those big flatheads and stuff, you know.
It's Doty too. Everyone always calls me Dotty.
Doty.
I used to call you Dotty until we actually got to talk. And you're like,
Flathead Doty.
I'm like, oops. Sorry, man.
Everybody does that.
Mosley,
I was a little kid.
That resort called the Shangri-La.
Yeah.
Is that resort called the Shangri-La, Doty?
Yeah, that is the resort. Yep. That's a really cool resort. I had
That's
a
why
lot
I
of
had
fun
Chris
there.
to say it. I couldn't say that word, so I let Chris.
String law, string. Yeah,
Shangri-La. That's like Indian for
it's like
heaven on
you
earth.
would never expect something that like luxurious to be like out there in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, on the side of Grand Lake of the Cherokee. It's just like a little hidden gem for sure.
Lee Loy says he was dragging for eaters and got smashed. And that's when you're going to lose probably your best fish is when you're eater fishing because you're not geared up for them. You're not ready for them. Tom said had 4 big takedowns last night on an 8-0 hook. Didn't get
Hey, man,
didn't
I want to say
get a
I
hook in.
stopped in and was watching Tom catching some nice fish, brother. Doing a good, hell of a job, brother. Keep it up.
Tom's a fish catching fool. That's my fishing buddy. If you're linked to me, it's a good chance that you're a fish catching son of a bitch.
Slime lovers.
Right there, another one of the best anglers I know. It says, "What's up, slime family? I don't fish for small fish. I run 10-0s all the time." And that's true. That dude runs 10-0s even in dink season. Tom says them dinks were wearing him out. They will. They'll wear you out. And it's like, man, should I downsize my bait and put a small hook on just so I can catch these things? But then when the 50 or 60 hits, you're not ready for them and you lost him. So would you rather catch the 2 and 3 pounders or would you rather catch the monster? I mean, Matt Mosley says, should have seen the tooth patch and the lips on that 50-pounder he caught today. Giant head and mouth.
Nice.
Man, that was a nice fish, man. Congratulations on that.
Just come off the nest. Looked pretty healthy, too, for just being done spawning.
It did, man. It was a nice looking fish for sure.
That one we caught Saturday was beat to hell and scrawny and weak. It ran 3 or 4 runs, but it was not much. There wasn't much fight to it. Gave up real quick. So, for a warm water fish, you know what I mean?
Our spawn's probably going to be weird this year. The weather's been so strange. Like, it's still been getting down into the low 40s overnight, like, for the last couple weeks. It's weird.
You know, it's been a weird year, and we've been saying that every year the last 3 years. But
yeah, that's true.
I will say this is the earliest spawn I can remember in the last 10 years. It really went fast. And they're done. They're pretty much done here, which, normally it's July.
Has it been like dry there?
July 4th is usually the end of it. I'm sure there's still some that, they don't all spawn at the same time, but there's a lot of fish that are done. I'm seeing a lot of guys catch good fish.
You think there was maybe like a lot of rain there that triggered it, or has it been pretty dry there?
But we had that mild, that really mild late winter. We had a hard freeze, but then after that hard front, it was very mild after that, where it was like, damn, it was just another weird year. All I can say is every year has gotten to be completely weird. The fish are confused. They're not acting like they typically would in previous years. It's different. It's a lot different. Times have changed. Times are changing. The fish are confused.
Tom said water hit 80 here earlier in April. Man. Dirty, how's your year matching up this year to your past years? Is it different for you, or is it pretty well about the same?
Last year was a really tough year because we had like 2 historic floods, like back to back, that pretty much shut everything down. It was flooded so bad. And
sorry, guys.
Towards the end of the year, it got a lot better, but this year, I guess this year started off pretty great. I've been hitting a lot of fish, so It's just fell recently, and I had all this fish kill. Kind of got me like stepping back for a little bit and letting it recover a little bit. I think it's going to be a really great year. I think I'm going to catch probably a lot more good fish. So we'll see.
Well, I tell you, man, if you stay on the track that you're on, you definitely are going to be catching some monsters for sure.
For sure. I'm ready.
Heidi says they haven't started to spawn there in West Virginia. The water temps haven't got above 65. Dang.
Wow.
Our
So
spawn in Flatheads won't be till June here. So
Rob Shoemaker,
it's
who's here in
early.
Texas, said water temps Friday night were 86 degrees, which is, spawn's over. They typically spawn to about 82 degrees. Sometimes some will spawn later, but
I could catch flatheads here during the spawn, but I tend to leave them alone that time of year. Once I know, like, for sure that they're down there, like, spawning on a rock and they're just, like, attacking baits left and right, not to, like, eat the bait, but, like, just trying to keep it off their eggs. You, like, know, like, the spawn's starting, I'll usually leave it alone, which is
Tom said water temps hit 80 here in early April.
usually a lot of guys will see me catch fish around that time, and then I'll try to tell people, like, yo, back off some of the spots, like, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Let the fish do their natural thing there, but then, like, every one of their mom will be there, and you'll see the same person catch the same fish 5 times. It's like,
Dude, what we've got now is these damn noodlers, hand fishermen that have become guides during the spawn. It's like, damn, all these guides popping up during the spawn to go hand fish flatheads off their nest. Just
leave them alone.
leave them alone. Everybody wants to like go let's go hand fish these. I'm like, aren't you a pro conservation? Because guess what? That's not pro conservation, buddy.
Like all these freaking this post I keep seeing going around from Triangle Lakes or whatever the hell it is. It's just like, quit even sharing the post. And
I said that I got so much freaking hate when I said that, dude. I said, you guys realize when you post the name of this pay lake that a lot of people don't give a crap that they're pulling these fish out of the river.
I had no idea.
More people to fish for them than they would ever. I said, I bet you after all of this, all this publicity that y'all gave them, they're going to have their record numbers. And not only that, the next month they said, we've had 3 weeks in a row, our record numbers, and we are putting a record number of fish into our ponds the next 3 months or whatever. So you're not only telling people where all these 100-pounders are being put in, but now you're also telling guys, hey, these guys are buying 100-pound fish. This is where you can go sell them.
I think a lot of the hate that those guys receive on their end causes them to probably even be more malevolent about the way that they're doing this stuff. Like, just because just to, like, get back at people bashing them. And
I've noticed that a lot. These huge catfish groups that are on Facebook, there's a large number of guys that really feed off of killing big fish.
Fight.
They make a whole deal.
Bad stuff.
Like the guy that sliced that blue cat up and just threw it into the lake the other day. I'm like,
yeah, I've seen that too. It's just
golly, man.
Yeah.
Just to kill it. Like,
I won't comment.
We all got to answer to somebody when we die one day.
That's right. That's it, man.
Man, oh man. John Lowe says hand fishing is about the same as snagging to me. I agree, John. I don't agree. I don't think it should be legal. I don't know how it ever got legalized here in Texas, but setting hooks and crossing eyes says evening. Fist bump. Welcome in, bro.
Chris,
well, Jamie, let's give something away, man.
Hey, you read my mind.
I'm gonna go take a leak.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's it.
I'll be back too.
Well, guys, as the panel cleared out, As soon as they get back, guys, we're gonna probably give away a slime show hat. I'm going to be giving away 2 packs of 2-ounce drifting weights. We're gonna do 1 yellow and 1 of the green El Gato Azul signature drifting weights. So as soon as Chris gets back, hopefully he's got a pen and paper right there. We're gonna do a little something and get back to y'all guys that's always support us here at the Slime Show, man. Y'all guys has always been terrific, and we wanted to just surprise y'all. I know, man, already tonight, Doty, you gave away a bank holder for the rod holder, and that's started off the show. And congratulations to the winner of that. So let's see. Looks like we pretty much caught up on all the questions and everything, guys. And like I said, we just appreciate all the support and love.
I appreciate everybody for tuning in.
And I
Keep
know
doing what you love.
that's it, man. I like I said earlier, I was excited, man, having you on the show tonight, talking about some flathead fishing, some different techniques, and it's been an awesome show, man. And Chris, you got a pen and a paper there, brother? How you want us to do this?
Yeah. Got 28 people in here. We'll go 1 through 100. You got somebody who can track this on the chat?
Well, I'm gonna be looking at the chats as much as I can.
I mean, I can track it since
okay.
I'm one writing the number down, but let's go 1 through 100. And I will pick a number between 1 and 100. The closest number to it wins a what?
Let's do the first one, man. Let's go ahead and do a pack of 2-ounce yellow.
2-ounce yellow Carolina lake weights.
There you go. We'll make the first one that.
Sweet.
And I'm going to write the number down. And then we'll say, go. Nope, John, don't be putting any numbers down. Danny boy, I'm going to say go. Gotta wait till I say go. Jimmy Moore says 69. Come on, man.
Sounds amazing.
Hold off, boys.
Easy, Charlie.
We're scratching all those numbers. So
sounds like they're
stop putting numbers up. It's not going to count. None of those count. No more numbers. I'm going to put scratch, and everything below scratch, that's when it starts counting. So
setting hooked at how often does Doty get out? I'm out like every night. I basically live on the river.
All right, let's see. What would be a good number?
Man, they're excited tonight, Chris.
All right, I've got a number picked. Bill, what the hell? Follow the rules. Come on, man. All right. When I type go, you can type in your numbers.
Let's go.
Are you ready?
So we need a Royal Rumble.
There it is, guys. There's go, man.
Go. 1 through 100. Closest to the number wins.
Good luck to everybody in chat, man. We, like I was saying earlier, we appreciate y'all supporting us here on the Slime Show, man. You never know when we're going to do something like this. No numbers are rolling in now.
OG is the winner. 33.
There you go.
Who is that? Who's 33?
Mia OG.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
MIAAOG.
I think that's one of my followers.
All right. All right. Send me your address, your name and address. We'll get them out to you. If you're one of Doty's people, you're supposed to have subscribed and followed me. But If not, send Doty your information. If not, send it to me. But if to eliminate some of the pain in the ass for Doty, just if you don't have me, send it to Doty. How about
Chris
that?
Gamble, add him on Facebook. Just send him a message.
That's it.
All right. What do we got next, Jamie Dunn?
I tell you what, man. Let's go ahead and do a neon green
Man, I'm jelly
Richardson
of that. I like that.
slime show hat.
This is for the slime show green.
I like the design on that. It's sweet.
It is, man. I tell you.
Had a lot of guys say that's a lucky hat. And
Especially under the black light. I bet it glows good.
Oh, it does. Matter of fact, you said that. I tell you what, let's do that right here.
Man, there was a ton of those hats at CatCon. I was at how many dudes were wearing
That's
the slime
sweet.
show hat. That was cool.
Even the camo one I've got on, it pops, man. So
Yeah, I'm gonna need to get one of
guys.
those.
If you want to buy one, you can also get one at www.carolinalakeweights.com.
Yes, sir. And
Yes,
we do have a couple different colors in them also, guys.
Yeah, you got a camo. Well, you're rocking the camo.
Yeah, I've got a couple different colors there on the website. I'm not sure what's available. If it's not available, you shoot us a message. We will make it available.
There you go. Dalton Abel says, if I can get that lucky hat, I need it because that's
Dalton Abel got the rod holders tonight.
Yeah, well,
you'll be sitting pretty. You got all the nice gear. Get set up good.
All right, let me see here. All right, I got my number picked. When I say go, we going. This is for the Slime Show PB busting hat. Are you guys ready?
No.
Go.
Appreciate that, Mosley. He's got another shipment of hats headed his way, man. Love them. Good luck to the winners or to the winner.
Some of these guys got a strategy, don't they?
They do.
Somebody picks a number and then they pick the one number above them.
Man, I wish they let me see the chat on here.
You can't see the chat?
I have to click out of the screen where you can see myself.
I tell you, they rolling through. I know that the numbers are rolling through. I love it, man. Giving back a little bit, man. I love it.
Mike, some of my favorite shows are the giveaways, man. I just like giving shit away. Keep them pumping. Only one number guess, please. Rob's like picking 5 different numbers. Come on, Rob. Just pick one number, dude. You're going to get disqualified.
Corey, if you would give me another number, just pick one, brother. Let me know which one you're going with.
Yeah, you guys, come on. You got only one number. We don't. I didn't realize I needed to put up a rules sheet for you guys. Rob's got like 12 numbers picked.
Oh, man.
It's goodness gracious. All right. Let me look down the list because I got sidetracked because we're seeing the same name pop up here. All right. Winner is Rusty Duncan, the lucky dude from Ohio. Well, he's from Louisiana. He's my coon ass buddy. Congrats, Rusty. Number 88.
Congratulations, buddy.
You
Congratulations.
the Slime Show Green Lucky PB catching machine hat, bruh.
Yeah, that's a sweet hat, bud.
There you go, buddy. I hope
Rusty
you enjoy it, man.
Well, Rusty is my buddy. So, Rusty, you just send me a text with your address, and we'll get it sent out. Trent, you were close. And then I started seeing all these same numbers pop up. I'm like, or same names pop up. I'm like, wait a minute.
The giveaway stuff's fun. I like doing the stuff.
I do too, man.
All right.
Kind of like what Mr. Beast did. Mr. Beast blew up giving away a bunch of free stuff.
Yeah. I like his
They get bigger
giveaways.
and
though.
bigger.
He gives away Lamborghinis and stuff. It's crazy.
I wish. Anybody
right.
got a new boat?
Man, Steven said, felt like a damn auction going on there for a minute.
Hey, let me get a 77, 77, 33, 33, 33, and 37. Oh, 80, 80, 80. Rusty Duncan is the winner.
Last but not least, guys, we're going to give away
Another one.
I know you like seeing this. Look there.
The signature Elgato Azul PB busting dragging weights, people. Get
There
you
you go.
some.
Man, it'd be crazy if you had lights so bright on the side of your boat you can make them things glow down at the bottom of the water.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. That's for sure, man. And there's the big boys right there, guys. They glow also.
All right, guys. Pick one number this time, please. I love it. I love it. Tim King says underwater disco.
That's it.
My buddy Bill said there's a camera you can put on your line now. I'm wondering how that would work in dirty water. I don't
Is that the one that actually pulls almost like a little miniature board under the water? I've seen today. I've seen one like that.
Look like a little. I've never seen it. I can't.
Yeah. It looked very weird.
Look like a little bullet, like a little submarine. Hey, quit picking numbers. I'm going to disqualify you guys. Shit. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to say go, and then the competition begins. Wait, let me write the number down. This is for 2 ounce or 3 ounce, Jamie?
2 ounce. 2 ounce.
2 ounce signature Elgato weights.
I see where they said next giveaway is a fishing trip with Doty.
Oh, man. Tim said the fish would eat the camera. Them fish that your son caught damn sure would, Tim. That was epic, bro. I love seeing that. All right, here we go, guys. We are going to start the competition when I put in go. All right, we're going 1 through 100. And John Young has already disqualified himself.
Got him.
Not seriously, though. Starting now, go.
See the chat.
Man, that Chris, I think you said go, and I think you already had them right there on top of you, brother.
I'm keeping an eye on these boys this time. Make sure none of y'all are cheating.
Wow.
Leo, come on.
I didn't know. People could text that fast. Holy cow, these numbers.
Let me see.
Dirty, it looks like they're wanting someone was wanting a fishing trip with you, also, brother.
$500 an hour. Kidding. Come out to Omaha. We'll probably make something happen.
That's it.
I don't know if I'll be doing any traveling for a little while, but maybe.
Everybody guessed? Everybody's guess is in.
Looks like it, brother.
All right. I'm hitting stop. If you got to guess, you better get it in. This is after I hit stop, it's over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Number was 21. I'm going to have to go back through here and see who was the closest. So
21. Let's switch back over to the other
Brandon Hall had 13. Anybody between 13 and 21? Trent Hall, winner. Trent's the winner.
Yep.
Trent's my buddy. So, Trent, send me your address, homie. I'll get you these weights sent out.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, everybody.
People getting some nice stuff tonight.
Well, Trent, we need to go fishing, man. We need to formulate a plan, my brother.
Get out there to Texas and Chris will make it happen for you. That's for sure,
Trent's
Captain.
gonna make it happen for me. Shit, he's as good as anybody I know. He's gonna make my dreams come true. I'm just gonna show up, Doty.
I just showed up.
I might bring that good bait. I might bring that good.
Guys, I want to say that was a lot of fun, man. Congratulations to all the winners. And that's just to say appreciation, for y'all supporting us here at the Storm Show.
27 was closer, but just like any of these competitions, if you go over,
anything over, yep. And guys, y'all can, like I said, man, go visit us over at CarolinaLakeWeights.com and grab you some cool gear. And we got some more cool stuff coming shortly, too.
Saturday, Vest says my boat, Madisonville, baby. Woo! I'm there, bro. Let's go get an 8-footer.
Sure.
Piss some people off. Guys, y'all think catfishing makes people mad? Try alligator gar fishing. Damn. When I rolled up to the ramp this last trip, I shit you not. When I rolled up, 2 guides looked at me and went,
Oh, man.
What?
I've had some people look at me that way before.
I'm not allowed to come fishing down here, guys. What?
Chris, they've already heard of the War Machine, and they already heard of you, and they already knew the fish were in trouble.
Dare you?
The fish are in trouble, but I let them go. I just give them a hug and a kiss and send them back down. What does it freaking matter, man? All right, Trent, I'm gonna be figuring it out Saturday.
The fish is suffocating.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm down. Oh, show.
Keep promoting positivity.
That's the way I look at it. I'm gonna keep. I did the post today on kind of I'm trying to figure out, some topics for another show, and so I do these Facebook posts that ask guys questions, and today was, what what's holding the catfish industry back, and then what are some things that could propel it forward in the future. And it's weird. Some of the answers were weird. I will say a lot of them fell
It's a good one.
the way I think, but it was some weird stuff. Like, you think that's holding your reactions is part of the problem. Really, I'm thinking what I'm internally thinking. I don't know, man. The catfishing deal, to me, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think it's the lack of professionalism is what's probably holding it back the most. And then the thing that I believe that could propel it more into the future would be like a concerted effort to try to get more kids involved in catfishing. There's not enough youth anglers.
You say more catching fish and less putting on wigs and making dumb skits and stuff by the river. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm about the fish, and all my fishing friends are really
People
hard.
are trying to make fishing more into like a Hollywood thing, like filming a movie or something that's like not even like real. Like, it's about fishing, man. We're fishermen. Yeah, get out there and fish and promote the product that we use, and
it's all the other crap that's not really fun. So if like
fishing tails, talking about the good times we had, sharing our moments that we had out on the water,
memories. I told one guy, he had said something. I said, well, to me, the memories is the currency, and I mean, I'm getting paid, and the memories is my pay. I'm not. I mean, I get guys trying to make a living being guides and, making an extra coin on the side. But it seemed like everybody these days wants to start tying rigs and
be yourself.
Chase your dream, but
that's what your thing is, man. If you're passionate about it,
road. I know a lot of guys that have tried to go down this road. It ain't, Jamie, it ain't easy, is it?
No, it's not. We've been through a lot of curveballs up and down and people throwing rocks and you name it.
Yeah, so, I mean, slinging for what? I mean, I'm like, I've got a ton of guys that don't like me. And hell, all I do is fish. I'm not a tournament angler, not a guide. All I do is fish and try to help my friends. And for doing that, you get a certain
I use it for motivation.
You for it. But hey, whatever. F them. I'm about my people, and I'm going to keep doing things that make me happy, which is fishing, building my friends, helping my friends. I think that's what's cool about what we got going on. I feel like what we got going on is much different than the general fishing public.
Breaking down barriers.
Yeah, that's it. And Doty, I want to mention this. You talking about doing your thing, man. One thing I love to see that you're out there doing. I know you got the campfire going on, man. You're out there muddy. You're slinging in the mud. You're in the water. You're living your dream, brother. And that's what it's about, man. You're in the trenches, just out there getting it done, man. And that's one thing I enjoy seeing your stuff, man. And I want to give you props on it, brother.
Appreciate that a lot.
Along with Doty, I may not agree with the way that he's handled some shit in the past, but hey, I made a ton of mistakes. And if I was Doty's age when social media was around, I can assure you it would not have gone well.
Your past doesn't define you.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that you're trying to learn from some of the stuff that's been a thorn in your side. You're not afraid to retaliate when someone attacks you. And really, there's nothing wrong with that. That's human nature. But I think I've seen your growth. I'm proud to call you my friend. I don't give a shit what these other people say, man. You're good to me. I think you got a good heart. We're all just trying to figure out our way through all this.
Deal with a lot in this industry, being a social media influencer. Things get to people sometimes and gets the best of you.
Yeah, I think
I had to take a break.
You've probably shot from the hip and come off half cocked when someone attacks you. You go on the offensive. And, you know, if somebody's going to F with Alex Doty, they're going to get it right back. And, you know, that probably opens you up to being
I learned a lot of lessons through all that. And I think I've definitely grown a lot.
I think that's cool. I think that's
sure.
cool. I respect that.
And that's why I said, man, I enjoy watching your stuff, man. I give you props the way you out there just beating it, man, getting muddy, man, catching the fish that you catch, and got your fire going, got your friends out there, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, thumbs up from us, man, for sure, brother.
Yeah, let my passion, that light shine. What I hope.
And
you know, you're my brother. I wouldn't have had you on the boat if I didn't feel that way. So you're welcome back on my boat anytime. You're welcome back on the show anytime. I think it's cool what you do.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All your stuff. So,
and hard work pays off, man.
You guys are my heroes.
Well, you want to come down here and do some gator gar fishing? Let's go figure something out, man. So I know you said you hooked up on your trips or your.
I got so many people want me to go everywhere, all over the country right now. It's like messages every day. Come to Idaho. Come to Texas. Come here. I want to go everywhere. That's the goal, but you know, you got to have the funds to do that stuff. So I'm still working hard in the trenches, trying to get to that place I want to be one day when I can have financial freedom to be able to travel and, you know, do more things that I love to do.
You know, brother, myself and Rebecca, we can say every day we're blessed. We get to do what we enjoy doing, you know, and we're blessed in that. And it's not always easy. It's tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, we've gave up a lot of good careers to do this, but I feel like, and Chris, you know, same way. We've touched a lot of people, man, and that just makes it every day even better when you get phone calls from people saying, "Man, y'all's products, and you know, thank you so much for the tips. Thank you for helping us." You know, it makes it all worthwhile, man, and that's why we enjoy doing what we love to do.
Beth says you'll never make everyone happy, and that's true. I mean, guys like, man, why don't you just want to just throw, you know, give it all up and just fish? And I'm like, yeah, but you know, the reality of it is I've made a ton of great friends. Like, let me get this kid off of here. Kids, man. But I've made a ton of great friends through fishing, and a lot of these guys that are in chat are my brothers. We're freaking bonded by angling. Trent Hall, Vest Cooks, Rusty Duncan, Doty, Jamie. None of us would have ever been good buddies if it weren't for fishing. And fishing has a way of bringing people together. We're not all going to see eye to eye, and you don't have to be friends and best buddies with everybody. You know, just find your niche. You know, kind of do things the way that you like to do things. You don't have to do things the way, you know, way everybody thinks you should do it. Do things your own way. Try to be respectful. Biggest thing is try to be a helpful person and be, you know, respectful and positive. I feel like the group of people that I've found through fishing are all very like-minded, even though we're from different walks of life. All my good buddies can be great buddies with the rest of my good buddies. It's really like that. So
we got them younger future generations watching us, and got to put up a good example for them. So, you know, fishing helps a lot of people, keeps people, you know, out of gang stuff, out of drugs, out of partying, stealing stuff, you know, keeps people on a, you know, a focused mission, doing something positive in their life. And, you know, how can you really hate on somebody fishing? Like,
that's it, man. That's it. Very true words right there, man.
Keeping people out of trouble. Says,
how has CatCon influenced your friendships? And I would say, you know, for me, what CatCon is very unique is a lot of the guys that I've become friends with through, say, like the Slime Show. I got to go see him face to face, Danny, and I think there's just something different about being able to connect with somebody face to face rather than being friends over online. Like Doty, I mean, we got to fish together this spring up at Texoma, and it was brutally tough. I mean, we fished our asses off. We fished our asses off. We grinded, moved, tried a lot of different things, and eventually it all paid off. It was very touch and go for a while because the pressure was on me. I wanted to do well for him, but once we finally tasted that sweet victory,
Locked in.
it was like, damn, this is what it's all about. And
He saw me get like a little kid in the candy shop again, like it was my first fish I ever caught.
yeah, I was like,
He would get
damn,
excited.
Doty actually smiled.
Get real happy. Like, holy crap.
Hey, Chris, you about CatCon, man. For myself and Rebecca too, and our whole team, getting out there and shaking the hands of the people, talking to them. I can tell you, for 2 days, man, I lost my voice. I've shook more hands, hugged more necks.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, man. And that's what it's about. And I love it, and can't wait to travel and do a lot more of that this year.
John Young says, "Don't forget about the old farts that are new to the game," and I don't, John. I hold guys that have been fishing a year with the same regards as I hold my buddies that have been fishing for 30 years. If you're my buddy, I'm gonna try to help you. It doesn't matter what level of angler you are. I have found that in life you're going to feel so much more reward when you are a helpful person than when you're, really just in it for yourself. So that's why I try to help people, because it makes me feel good. That's why I try to help my friends. I tell my buddies, hey, if you're in jail and you need somebody to bail you out, you can call me. I guarantee you, I'll be there. And you don't even have to be my best friend. I'm just gonna try to do that for my people. I just I like to have brotherhood. I think it's something that's probably getting watered down and less of a thing. So I think it's a little different for guys like us. I like to think that we're different. We're old school. I know you're a little younger, Doty, but you seems like you're like an old school type of dude like us, man. So
I feel old.
man.
John, it was
12/5/75. You're a youngster, man. I'm a 74.
Yeah,
John,
right.
it was good meeting you at CatCon this year too, brother.
Todd Barnes was doing his Flathead Brawl live stream when I got on tonight. I was
I
over
don't
there.
know if I'm allowed a CatCon.
Live stream. Looks like that's going to be a good tournament, Todd.
Yeah.
I wish I lived closer. I could fish with some of you guys, man. Like to go fish with Todd too.
Everybody needs vacations.
John Young says he's fished all his life, but chat's flying. Targeted cats and sturgeon in the last 5 years. Uh-oh. Tom says he spun the prop on the boat last night. Well, luckily, Tom, that's about a $30 repair. It's just the prop seal. So take it to the shop. They'll press another seal in there and you'll be back on the water. And usually they can do it while you wait. I mean, depends on the prop shop. Trent says, I got both of y'all beat on that too, because Trent's the old fart of the group. I bet he don't have us beat by too far, though. If he does, damn, he's in good shape. Tom says, yeah, and he's got a spare. So
Nice.
no problem spending that prop seal. Michael Cox says he sold the pontoon. On to the next boat. That's exciting stuff, man. It's fun rigging the new boat.
Vess said, Chris, let's road trip and fish with some guys while ending the trip fishing with me.
No, I'm game, Vess. I know some badass anglers up there, and that'd be great to fish with Jamie. Let's do that. Bo show. We're gonna get something planned. I'm down.
Yes,
I'm down for that.
Just start up an annual cookout. Bunch of us guys.
Yeah.
All
That
get
would be a
together and
blast.
go camp out somewhere.
That would be a blast. It really would.
Richard Brinkman says his buddy Brock Hackman broke the bottom fin off his new old boat. He is past the Tower of Power. Dan says, let's have a giveaway for Doty's Little Debbie's.
I was looking at that, Chris. I'm sitting going, man, I can't have that no more. Oh, man.
Look, I eat America for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. USA, baby. USA.
There you go.
Eat shit, red, white, and blue.
Chris, man, what a fun show, brother.
Come on down to Texas, man. You can stay in our guest room. We'll go get you one. We'll go get you one.
I ain't gonna lie, I miss Texas a lot coming back out there after 10 years.
Yeah, Texas is a unique place.
Minus all the traffic and taking like 2 hours to like drive anywhere.
But I mean, it's a great place to live.
It's a lot different there than it was when I grew up there. It's like so much change.
It's some days I'm like, damn, I'd like to get out of here. But if you're working, there's really not a better place in the country to work. Job market, economy.
If you work outside in the summertime?
I work outside in the summertime, and I am getting a little old for it, but I enjoy it.
I knew a guy out there that
summer person, so
he used to work so hard all day in the sun, like he'd get off work and he wouldn't even be able to go inside in the AC because it would like make him feel sick after working in the heat all day just to go in the AC, and he ended up dying like a couple of years after that. He told me that it was like that heat ain't no joke out there.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Guys are like, oh, you ought to come up to Virginia. I'm like, Virginia? Like, really? You think Virginia's hotter than Texas? They're like, oh, it's that humid heat. I'm like, that's the thing, is all you guys think Texas is some desert. It ain't. We got a green belt that runs right down the middle of this thing. We got high humidity and 105-degree heat. I mean, this is not a desert. Now, there are West Texas, yes, it's a desert, but the majority of Texas is not some desert. It's hot and quite a bit of it's humid, and it'll kick your ass.
For sure.
Oh, man.
Man, Chris, I've enjoyed the giveaways tonight, man.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Guys to win some stuff. Let's see, we got Trent. He won some 2-ounce weights. Rusty Duncan won a Slime Show hat. And Mia OG won some 2-ounce yellow CLWs. So, Doty, I guess you're going to have to get Mia OG's information. You can send it to me or to Jamie.
Yeah.
I'll get Rusty Duncan's and Trent's addresses for you, Jamie, and I'll send them over to you after the show.
Yeah, send them straight over, and we'll get everything shipped out first thing tomorrow.
Cool beans. Good show, guys.
Tommy says he got some primo bait last night. Tommy, go catch you a freaking monster, bro. I know what that stuff catches. All right.
I hope everybody catches a monster.
This thing.
That's it.
All right. Let's have a slime show get together live. I like that.
That's what I've been saying.
Be a great idea.
That would be a blast, man.
Brian Henry says the heat in Texas is nuts. No doubt. No doubt. All right. Always humid here, says Tommy Boy. There's no doubt. Seems like it's always humid here. And, it'll be 100 the day after it rains. Like, damn.
It's been nice and cool out here in Nebraska so far this year.
We had a little cold front today. It was nice today. Cloudy.
I'm sure it's about to get miserable.
My boy Vest says Texas is in the middle of the devil's ball sack.
Imagine being out in the Amazon jungle and you got all these giant ants and
Oh, hell.
crazy
Yeah,
things that-
everything wants to kill you. Well,
everything.
that's the same thing about Texas. If it's not a freaking rattlesnake, it's a copperhead or a mosquito.
I'd probably take that over than some of them ants out there
Yeah.
in the jungle.
Mosquitoes right or kick your ass.
Corey, appreciate that, brother. Corey said, great show, y'all. Appreciate that, buddy.
Appreciate everybody stopping in with us. Doty, let's do it
Good
again,
show.
bro. Come on down and fish. Jamie Dunn, love you, man. Y'all be
Hey.
good. Tight lines. God
Peace.
bless. Zool out.
Later, everybody.
Guys, have a good night.